What's going on, everybody? And welcome to another episode of The Other Side of the Firewall, where we talk about the latest and greatest cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
And LeVon Maynard.
Hey, welcome to the show.
What is going on? So, voice is a little scratchy. I've been doing a little bit of traveling, so please excuse me throughout the rest of these episodes. It should get better, hopefully by the Friday episode. But to make sure you stay tuned throughout the week, we have a lot of variety this week. So today we'll be talking about some cyber attacks. Tomorrow we'll be talking about some I don't know what you want to call it, espionage maybe. I don't know. Wednesday we have a good discussion. Just talking about the things you should do when you travel. I just came from a trip, so I saw people do a lot of things you should not do when you are traveling with your electronic devices. And then, of course, Friday we will discuss everything else. So, you know, we've been playing, we've been seeing, might talk about some episodes, some good shows, some trailers, things of that nature. So definitely continue to tune in. And then without further ado, I'm not gonna mess up this week, I don't think. I give it to Shannon.
That's right. Yes, that's the right. So this article, right, was from threatpost.com. It's called Yandex pummeled by potent Meris DDoS botnet, right? And this written by Tom Spring. So what this was as I read this article, I was like, I don't know what any of this stuff is, right? So Yandex, what that is that's Russia's version of Google, right? And they had a record-breaking DDoS attack against them. Now, when you hear these numbers, you're going to be like, wow, okay. So for those that aren't in the know, actually, though, so a DDoS, right? So distributed denial of service attack. So what it is you have all types of different endpoints that are pinging a location at one time, right? And what happens is that endpoint will send a request, right? But before there's a chance for the destination that you're launching an attack against, before it sends the response, you're sending another one, then you're sending another one, you're sending another one, but it's from multiple different endpoints, right? And in this instance, it was, let me get this number right, 21.8 million requests per second from 56,000 devices, which were MikroTik hosts. I didn't know what MikroTik was, so I had to look it up, right? And so what it is it's a Latvian network equipment manufacturer. And when I looked this up, this was what was kind of interesting to me, right? So I'm thinking, when I read what it was, network equipment manufacturer, right? I started thinking about Cisco, right? I started thinking about stuff, you know, in America that's related to it. And I look into this company, and this is not a big company at all. So it only has 280 employees as of 2019, I think is what it was, right? 2019. And so I was like, okay, so this is a small company, but they pretty much have manufactured all the equipment for the Russian Google. You know what I mean? Russia's not a small country to where, you know, they've only got like 10 different items out there, 10 different pieces of equipment out there that they're using, right? So I was like, okay, well, by comparison, I said, well, maybe I just don't know, right? So I went and looked Cisco, right? Just looked at one of the big companies that we know and use and love so much, right? And I couldn't even get a number on them. And what I found was they have 41 that they've listed, 41 different manufacturing partners that they deal with and component suppliers, 41 different ones. So I'm like, okay, well, they probably have more than 280 employees is what I'm thinking, right? So with all of these combined, but that's what got me was that this was a small company that did this, and the way that they call this attack the Meris botnet, MERIS botnet, and the way that they got in here. Now, this is something we always talk about, right? It was from a patch, or it was from a vulnerability that was from 2018. So we're talking about a vulnerability from 3 years ago, was how they were able to exploit this and do, you know, 20, was it 20, what I say it was, 21.8 million requests per second. So
Right.
like, why are we still going through this? Why is this still a thing, right? Especially for this last 18 months that we've gone through. And you would figure, especially these places in Russia would know better than this, right? Being as how they're always getting blamed for I don't want to say funding or acting against different countries and whatnot, but it seems that these attacks seem to originate from Russia, right? So you figure you would protect your glass house a little bit, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
Maybe not throw some stones, you know what I mean? But yeah, this was one of those things where, like I said, it was a 2018 vulnerability that they used to get in there and do this DDoS attack. But this is just like, I can't believe that we see so much of this happening based off stuff that are just old vulnerabilities, right? Like, this is not, especially from, and again, if this is the Russian Google, like, you figure their cybersecurity would be so much better than this, right? Because I mean, you think about it, those companies here in America, like, it's that loss of money when it comes to again, losing the public trust is just something that you don't want to have. But apparently these guys aren't learning their lesson over there in Russia, right? They get their butts handed to them with with Meris, the Meris botnet at 21.8 million requests per second. You know what I mean? But LeVon, what's your thoughts on this, man?
Yeah, I think it's a good story. It's kind of interesting hearing some attack that actually affected like a Russian company or like resource. You hear a lot about a lot of these attacks affecting American or U.S. companies, and I think the next biggest one I heard recently was maybe the one in Brazil with I think like the food packing, whatever it was, a meat packing
JBS.
The meat
yeah
process.
meat processing. Yeah, that was like the last one I heard, like outside the U.S. I mean, that was kind of significant. I mean, it seems like a pretty significant. I mean, I'm not sure how, I don't honestly know how popular this like search engine is in Russia. I almost feel like a lot of places end up using like Google. They use like, I don't know, whatever, Amazon, like for shopping and all this kind of stuff. You'd be surprised how much a lot of America has a lot of influence in a lot of countries, but for this like seemingly kind of major search engine in Russia to be affected, to be attacked, is kind of a little bit of a surprise. I haven't really heard many big attacks happening to Russian resources, but nonetheless, I mean, yeah, as you described, Shannon, it's like it seems like they, kind of slacking on their patching, letting like old vulnerability still be accessible in their infrastructure, and the fact that it's a small company, seemingly a small worker pool that's operating this service. Maybe they don't have like a dedicated, or don't have many people dedicated to security uptake and making sure everything is running efficiently and secure. But it's pretty interesting. I mean, it's a cool story. I think I like to find out. I'd be curious to know like the group that actually implemented this attack on the Russian devices. I'd be curious to know where they're at. Like, what country are they from? Is it some other is this China? Is this is this the U.S. coming back at them? Is this like Norway or something? Yeah. USA, get them Russian. No. No, but it's like it sounds like a crazy situation. But I'd be interested to know a little bit more about the sources of attack, and I wonder if Russia would be kind enough or be like open enough to like share with the share with the people as far as what happened and what they did to resolve it, and what they where the attacks originated, where they think that the attack came from. Because in the U.S. we're quick to say, hey, we know this was Russia. We're gonna we're gonna go talk to Vladimir Putin, go knock on his door and say, hey, what's going on? Why you guys attacking us all the time? But I'd be curious to see if they kind of come up with something and try to like kind of blame somebody for this attack, and I guess depending on how much of an effect it caused in their country. But what you got on this, Ryan? What you think?
Yeah, I find it interesting as well. So they may not have access to Amazon and to Google. I was trying to search, I couldn't find how free their internet is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it may be that they have no choice but to use
I know in China, I'm pretty sure it's that way, like you just described. It. I think they are pretty locked down. They have like they call it the Great Firewall or something like that.
Right. And even if it is Google, it might be a different version of Google. It might be like this is their specific version of Google. So maybe Yandex gets them more of what they need and what have you.
Right.
So yeah, I was interested as well as where it originated. I know a lot of those neighboring countries. Some of them are cool with Russia, some of them aren't. They all used to be part of the Soviet Union at some point. So they're kind of like cousins, right? Um, so that's probably why they had the agreement with Latvia to make the devices to put into their network. Forming those bonds and partnerships and what have you. But it's kind of the opposite, right? So in the States, we have vast amount of different vendors and manufacturers that supply this equipment, and then that causes vulnerabilities because with having such a mixed melting pot, it's a lot to track. Like which device and which stack is currently vulnerable. What do we need to patch? That goes to patch management. In this case, it's very specific. Like, no, we just need to find out what the vulnerabilities are for this company, their equipment in the stack, and it just makes it a single point of failure. So you got to have a healthy blend of equipment within your network just to stop stuff like this happen. And then of course, patch things that are 3 years old. That definitely help you out. But with them, you said they're only like 200 people. So with them being so small, I don't know if they have the resources to stay up on those patches like they need to. So all those things come into play. Yeah, it's funny that they haven't attributed it to anybody yet. So that should be hopefully coming out soon. Like maybe we'll know about by next week who attacked them. But I doubt it was any of the homies. I doubt it was China. I doubt it was Syria. Like
Right.
they're too tight. So
The homies. Yeah.
So it's probably somebody, some neighbor adjacent who's not exactly happy with them. Probably hit them up to shut them down for a little bit. But yeah, definitely interesting to see it happen to somebody else because we've been getting attacked every day for the past, who knows, like at least the past 2 years has been nothing but DDoS and ransomware. But also that it was the largest also surprised me because I think we talked about one not too long ago, maybe 6 months ago, where that was one of the biggest. I forget what it was called. Like they had a name. It was called like the Ultra DDoS or the Super DDoS or something like that. But it was like one of the like world record, but it was blocked. Like they were actually able to mitigate it before it got bad, unlike this one where they did not block it and took them down for a significant amount of time. But again, like also it comes down to patching. Like we talk about ransomware all the time, like, oh, we're sick of ransomware, yada yada yada. Well, I'm sick of patching too. patch your systems. I get it if it's a 0 day, there's nothing you can do about it, right? It happens. But this one was 3 years old, so they should have been trying to do something to mitigate it. Because these weren't like IoT devices; these were actual network gear that could be upgraded. At least that's what it seems like, as opposed to like a bunch of Roombas attacked you. This was some of your major nodes and equipment that failed you in this regard. But I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
So
I hear your point about the single source to go to, but the point I was making with the 280 employees is that it's just like what LeVon was saying, right? Like I don't think they have enough people to actually go out there and make sure that they're taking care of all the stuff like they need to. You know what I mean? Because
right.
Russia is not a small country, and it reminds me. I want to look that up. I want to see what the population of Russia is, right? Because like if this is their Google and it's for their country, this has got to be servicing a lot of people. 144.4 billion. So yeah.
So it's like half the states. So yeah, it's a lot of people.
Yep.
Who all need their Yandex, man. Right? Yandex.
Yeah,
they all need their Yandex. They all need it. I gotta know what's jumping in Moscow. So
right.
They were down for a significant, they're down for a significant amount of time. So again, and then like we laugh now, and then tomorrow Google goes down. So
right.
it's a weird world that we're in. You just got to be careful.
I know if Google goes down, I'm gonna grab some plastic bags and put some gas in them, and then put them
in your garage because it's going down.
Yeah.
Shoot, if Google goes down, man, I'd be like I currently am. I'm on Bing already. Bing.com, baby.
I need to Bing more often. Like
Yeah.
it's like Apple Maps, right? So when Apple Maps was jacked up, everybody went right back to Google Maps. Was like, nah, we ain't messing with that.
Right.
But Apple Maps is nice now, but everybody's like, nah,
Right.
because
Just so
like
used
Shannon
to
said,
Google
you
Maps.
lost
Yeah.
you lost the trust.
Mm,
So, but like
right.
in Bean's case, nobody lost trust. It's just like Google is just it's like Band-Aids. Like
Mhm.
it's the name
Right.
brand or what have you.
Right.
I once heard that Google sometimes parses information from Bing.
Mm,
Like, I don't know if that's true or not, but
I don't know. Yeah.
um,
I would be surprised.
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either.
Wouldn't
But
it
one
have
of
to
these days,
would have to get it from multiple sources though? Like I imagine Google, I imagine they're getting it from multiple sources. They're not gonna, I don't think they're gonna rest on their laurels and say, okay, we know everything we need to know. I imagine they are reaching out
yeah,
to
probably,
other.
and they also do local. So like, they have remote home. Am I saying that right? Because your home's not remote. You have work from home jobs. There you go, remote
Mhm.
jobs, where they ask you to help them with their database, like their queries, because they're so local and specific. They'll reach out to those communities to be like, what does this mean? Like your slang, your vocabulary, your um, like smaller like taverns and pubs and things of that nature. They'll reach out to those people and be like, hey, we want you to help us with queries. So there's a little bit of human element as well as all the other databases, all that stuff happen. I'm sure all the search engines do that. I just know that Google was doing it for I think it was like hourly work or whatever. I never got into it, but it's not bad living, I guess.
Mhm.
Um, but we got way off topic. So with that being said, that's Yandex. So if you never heard of Yandex before, if I'm pronouncing horribly, please let me know. But Yandex is the Russian Google, and it went down. Uh, and now you know why. So,
That's right.
but with that being said, thank you, Shannon. Thank you, LeVon. Another great episode. Please tune in throughout the rest of the week. Tomorrow, again, we'll be talking about some stuff. LeVon will be over here teaching us about what to do and what not to do, basically, with this story and how it went down. Wednesday, we will all be giving you our tips and tricks for when you're traveling both stateside and abroad because it's dangerous out there. And then Friday, well, like I said, we break down everything but cyber and what we've been doing all week. So definitely continue to tune in, and hopefully by the end of this week, I will not have jet lag. So hit up the website, www.theothersideofthefirewall.com, where you can get to all our social medias. And you can hit me up personally. I'm at RY Security Guy. That's RY Security Guy on Clubhouse, LinkedIn, Twitter, and TikTok. And you, LeVon?
Hey, you can hit me up on the Twitters at LeVon Maynard.
There it is. Stay safe, stay secure.
You take care.